See how many people we get in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get the Twitch link out as well.
What's going on, guys? How are we tonight?
All right. Oh, Twitch is pretty cool, man. I'm already seeing some of the cool stuff on there.
If anyone out there is good with Twitch, help us, please, because we're both extremely new to this.
Get some of my boys in here.
Also, guys, if you're watching live with us now, please throw out your comments as much as you want. Join our conversation. Ask us any questions regarding this Eagles schedule, our first look at it. Week 1 as a whole, NFL. We're just going to hang out for a little bit and chat about this Eagles schedule drop. And, Scott, I have a question for you to start the show. And this is just as the schedule dropping as a whole, and even when you think about the draft, like whether it's the NBA or NFL draft.
Yeah.
Social media ruins everything. As much as I love social media, dude, there's something like when a first round, when a pick is announced, right? When a schedule is released for the first time, and it's all this high anticipation, and this ESPN, the NFL Network are going to do a live show releasing the schedule, and you get leaks all throughout the day. But not the leaks are like, okay, maybe it's right, maybe it's not. At 7:50, the Eagles tweet out their schedule. What is the point of the 8 o'clock show?
You defeat all the suspense, man. I don't get it. And even the Sunday night, you guys are just they're putting out leaks all day. What's the point of the big hype? You should have just released it this morning.
What, dude?
I don't get it. We're sitting here thinking, we're gonna host a live show, and we're gonna, find out each game down the line. Yeah. An actual event, and nothing. We got the whole schedule here.
No, that's like when you're watching the 3rd pick of the first round of the NFL draft, and Twitter's already got the 5th pick, and it's like, dude, what? Can we stop?
Dude, that's why especially on the first night of the draft, I didn't even get on Twitter during the draft, especially during our pick.
Yeah, I stayed off during ours.
Spoiled.
But that was the first thing that stuck out to you, huh, about this Eagles schedule. No Sunday night games for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, how about that, man? And then you throw in one Monday night game, one Thursday night game, and a Saturday
and a possible Saturday game.
A possible Saturday game.
TBD still, but apparently it's going to be a Saturday game.
So I know Rob Motti, he said that could get flexed into Sunday night game or
dude, who knows, man?
Yeah,
who freaking knows with this league? Side note: Joel Embiid is not in Miami with the team, so that's interesting. Then the Sixers will really be taking us down to the wire of these final 2 games to clinch the #1 seed. But this is Turf Talk. This is an Eagles show, and this is an NFL show. So let's keep it at that. Scott, I think we're good. I think we're ready to get going. We have some people in here, it looks like. So, guys, like I said, thank you for joining us. Comment as much as you guys want. Ask us any questions you have, and let's have some fun with it, man. Hope you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel, DSM Media, and follow our Twitch channel, which we are live on right now. This is actually the first video that will be produced on our Twitch channel, so please tune in and follow us on Twitch.
That is right. And be sure, as we go through the schedule tonight, feel free to, comment. Let us know how you're feeling about the Eagles schedule. If you want to throw in a couple predictions there, feel free. It's hella early, but I guarantee you we'll be making some predictions tonight just for fun. And, we got to make it fun somehow since, the whole social media thing has ruined the suspense of it. We got to make it fun somehow. Dylan, are you ready for me to bring the schedule up on the screen, or when do you want to do that?
Yeah, man. Let's bring it up now, and we'll review this Eagles. Excuse me. Now 18-week, 17-game season here. And then if you want at the end of the show, we can look at just week 1 of the NFL as a whole and see what games stick out to us, what matchups stick out to us, some faces in new places this year. But Scott, it feels like we've been, going against one of our division rivals in the Washington football team in week 1 for the past, I don't know how many years. And now we get a different opponent. Actually, the opponent we had to open up on Thursday night after winning the Super Bowl in 2018, the Atlanta Falcons. But we're not home. We're in Atlanta. Just looking at week 1, how are you feeling when that was announced at around 8 a.m. or whatever it was this morning? What hit your head? Immediate reaction, win, loss for the Eagles?
So immediate reaction as far as predictions, definitely thought a win. And it's not because I think the Eagles are going to be, some great team or anything like that. I just look at the schedule, and this just looks like one of the games that we could have a chance at. You look at the Falcons. What have they done, really to improve their defense, which was their major struggle last year? Of course they added, Kyle Pitts to the offense. I think that's going to be really fun, to be honest with you. And maybe Kyle Pitts kills us week 1. We'll see how Eric Wilson, kind of fills in that linebacker role in, guarding tight ends.
Yeah,
there.
man.
If we still had Nate Jerry out there, it would be a track show for Kyle Pitts. But first reaction, a winnable game is what I would say.
I like that you wrapped it up there, because when you said win, I was like, wow, that you're starting off the show hot with this Eagles team that we're trying to temper our expectations with. However,
2-0, right?
I think winnable is the perfect way to put it because of Atlanta's defense. So we know they're still very explosive offensively. There were a lot of question marks whether they'd go if the Matt Ryan era was kind of ending in Atlanta. There's still ongoing conversations that Julio Jones, they're trying to get out of that contract, so that depending on what they got back for him, or actually not depending on what they got back for him, that if they lose Julio Jones or trade away Julio Jones, their offense becomes way less terrifying. But with Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, Julio, they still got TG30 back there, or am I forgetting something? I think they still have Todd Gurley, right?
Sure, they still have him.
So their offense worries me, and like you said, I feel like the weak part of this Eagles team on the two sides of the trenches is the defensive side of the ball. So if this week 1 matchup just screams high scoring, but I think the word you used in winnable is very important here, because if you just look at the first line, the first row of games, scary. So when you look down that line, it's like, okay, this is one of the more winnable ones in the first 6 weeks. The Eagles kind of need to win this one, and get some momentum out the gate, because if they don't, that is a rough stretch there, my friend. And I know we were a little, excited, because while we think this Eagles team, or at least I do, is a 5 to 7 win team, when you hear that they have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL, they only play 5 playoff teams from last year, you kind of think, well, maybe they can steal maybe they can overachieve a little bit because of the schedule. But when you look at this rough start that they could get out to, that's what I want to get into next. If you're down, is just after that Atlanta game, winnable is the best word, because you have San Fran in week 2 at the home opener, which I guess you could call winnable, because we don't know what they're going to do at quarterback right now. They just drafted Trey Lance 3rd overall, and they still have Jimmy G, so we don't know that. But dude, San Fran wasn't a playoff team last year because of COVID and all their injuries.
Yeah.
Their defense is back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their offensive weapons are back, right? So San Fran instantly goes back. They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And then they got plagued with injury. So this isn't one of those games where it's a non-playoff team from last year. This is, oh shit, this is a really, really good team. Probably a top 5 defense in this league when healthy, if not better.
Yeah.
So that game scares me. Then you go on the road to Dallas, who I think is, I hate saying this, and I hope I'm proven wrong early in this year. They're better than us. So then you have them. Then you come back home to Andy Reid coming back to town and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Carolina's winnable. And then you get the defending Super Bowl champs at home on that's a Thursday night game, I believe, there in week 6 versus the Bucks. So like you said, that's why I just wanted to go through that line, because winnable is the best possible word you could have used when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons. Because after that, man, it's pretty scary. Yeah,
no, and I completely agree. I did just want to throw in there, Todd Gurley is still a free agent. So
okay.
He has not
so
signed.
What's the? I'm sorry.
Running back?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to look at there.
They let Ito Smith go too, and I believe he was the backup. So it might be Brian Hill. I know that they were running with him a little bit last year. I don't know if maybe they drafted a running back as well, which they definitely could have. I haven't paid much attention to the Falcons, to be honest, but
no. And their defense is dreadful, but
yeah, it's been dreadful.
They picked up Mike Davis.
Oh, okay. So they got Mike Davis from the Panthers.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a decent pickup. He was a horse last year, so
yeah. That's high scoring is the way high scoring is the way I'm looking at this. So,
and then just to jump to week 2, like you said, don't be fooled. And I know you're not, but just speaking to listeners out there, don't be fooled by this 49ers team that missed part of the season without Kittle, most of the season without Jimmy G, or a competent quarterback at all. So don't be fooled by
Mostert
performance. And even throughout all of that, Richard Sherman injuries, secondary injuries there. Their defense
Nick
was
Bosa
all over the place. Nick Bosa was out.
Solomon Thomas.
And their defense was
still everybody.
They still had their linebackers though, and they controlled everything. You saw it when they played us. We barely won that game, and it's the only reason we did win is because I can't even remember the guy's name that was playing quarterback that week. Who was their backup quarterback? I know.
Oh my God.
Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins was the quarterback, and he played most of the game, and then they brought in C.J. Beathard or whatever his name is.
Bethard, yes, that's
Bethard. Yeah, they brought him in, and he actually played way better than Nick Mullins, but it was too late, and he ended up. I think he threw a pick 6 on his first throw, though.
Yeah, but like you said, man, I want everyone to realize that as well, because, like I said, this team 2 years ago had a 10-point lead over the Kansas City Chiefs in the fourth quarter in the freaking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay, now I think Sherman's a free agent. That's one piece of their defense, but he's aging. He's not the same Richard Sherman. Yeah. But when you just look up front, and I know they were missing even more defensive linemen than I was talking about, but the two that stick out, and Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa were out. Richard Sherman was out. They were missing pieces all over their freaking defense. And you brought it up. They didn't have competent quarterback play all year long. Yeah. Raheem Mostert missed a ton of time. George Kittle missed time. They had some wide receivers that missed time as well. Yeah. So, like I said, whether they go Jimmy G and he's that game manager type of player, or they go Trey Lance and we see what happens with that offense, which under Shanahan, that defense, it tells you all you need to know, and that's not going to be a lot of fun.
I do want to point out they did lose their defensive coordinator though, Robert Saleh. So that
correct, yes, you are.
That is a little bit of a plus, but once you have a system in place, I'm sure they had somebody right there to fill that role. Right. Is that week 3 Cowboys game? Is that Monday Night Football? Is that what I'm seeing there?
Yes.
Okay, man. They put our national game against the Cowboys. I guess it's fitting, but we're going to be in Dallas as well. Wow.
Yep.
Hey, let's show us something, Jalen. That'll be an interesting game, man. That'll be interesting to play them so early in the season.
Yes, that's it.
We haven't in so long.
Yeah, that stuck out to me as well.
8 to get like a matchup, but the 1 year our season is like really looking down. We have to play them early in the year.
It's always like week 8 to 10 versus Dallas, whether it's at home or on the road, and it's always Sunday Night Football, that first matchup against them. Always. Right. Now it's Monday night. It's in Dallas, and like that is the one thing that stuck out to me as well is you get them early. You don't see Washington until week 15.
Right.
You don't see the Giants till week 12. Like, so the only division rival you get in the first 11 weeks is the Dallas Cowboys, which was very surprising to me. But looking at that game, man, I don't know the timetable on Dak. Like, do you have any idea if he's ready by the opener? If he's ready early? Because he went down around week 3 or 4 of last year. I have no idea how long the timetable is for a compound fracture injury. I don't know if he'll be back, if he won't be back or not. So what I'll say is if Dak's not back, that's a win. If Dak's back, they're better than us. And I hate to say that. And like I said, maybe, and this is just as of right now. By the way, I want everyone to know that I'm prefacing these predictions off of as is.
Exactly.
How I feel about this Eagles team, and I want to be proven wrong. Like people can be in the comments or tweet at me or text me or whatever and call me a hater and tell me that like I'm down on this team, blah, blah, blah. I want to be proven wrong. I want to sound like an idiot when it comes to the Eagles losing, but I think that Dallas is better than us right now. I don't know how you feel, Scott, and that really sucks to say.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to find out what the plan is for Dak, because that's actually something I haven't heard a lot about. But
yeah, I think like the last big thing I saw on him was like him rehabbing, like throwing a ball not too long ago, and it was like Dak rehabbing. So like that seems like the first step in a long process. But like I said, it's only May. And the season doesn't open up until the second week of September. We don't play them until the end of September. So I have no idea what that timetable looks like. Maybe if we had a doctor in here, we could have more help with that, but we don't. All we got is us two. So
I was sitting there looking at this article. Now, mind you, it was released in January, but there's apparently like 4 phases, and it looks like a really long process. There were 2 phases with at least 28 weeks. So we'll see how it works out, but we got a comment here. It's my boy Darius. We got to run the division. It's not an easy schedule, but it's manageable. Definitely, if you want to have a chance at a division, now we'll see how the rest of this offseason plays out. But just brief look, first glance. Darius is exactly right. Like, if you want to have a chance at anything this year, which a lot of Eagles fans feel they don't. So, but the big question is, if you do, then you do have to run the table against the division, and that's every year. You saw it last year. If we would have won out against our division, we would have went to the playoffs, as bad as we were. So it'll be tough. The Kansas City matchup, week 4. How we get them right in the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we played the Kansas City Chiefs our Super Bowl year.
Yes, and that they still had Alex Smith. We have not played Patrick Mahomes yet.
We have not played Patrick Mahomes.
No.
So that is an interesting game. Obviously it's always interesting when Andy comes back to town, but man, I'm not looking forward to that.
Nope.
And you're looking at a secondary who still hasn't addressed that cornerback number 2 slot. So it's even more intimidating in that facet.
So how I keep talking about, as of right now, this is how I feel. Well, Scott, I sent you that article on Twitter a couple hours ago, and, there's a lot of teams interested in him. So, and I quite honestly don't expect the Eagles to get him, but there is some chatter around it. If the Eagles can somehow get their hands on Steven Nelson at CB2, well, I feel that gets me going. So that changed the defense, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does. And any competent corner that we could bring in for that CB2,
right. Except he's more than competent.
Outlook, yeah, he's a borderline Pro Bowler. So
yeah, so if you're talking Darius Slay and Steven Nelson on the outside. Safeties, you're rolling with McLeod. I know people like Kayvon Wallace. We didn't watch enough of him last year to know what he is. And then who's the Harris, the safety we brought over from Minnesota? I like that addition. I know it's probably just a 1-year rental. I do like that addition. Like you brought up Eric Wilson, the linebacker we brought over from Minnesota as well. Steven, that's a kid. That's huge there, dude. If you can get a hands on a cornerback of his caliber. So that helps against the Kansas City Chiefs. That helps against the Dallas Cowboys. That helps against the Atlanta Falcons. So I just want to address Darius's comment real quick. And, man, I'm not as high on this team as I want to be. And by the time training camp rolls around, I'm sure I'll have all Eagle shit behind my new studio, and training camp and preseason will roll around, and I'll be telling you we're winning 10 games because I'll just be in a better mood. However, if you want to run this division, week 1 through 6 is how you do it.
Yeah.
And trust me, I'm not saying the Eagles need to go 4-2. If the Eagles can win 2 of those games, is that fair, Scott? By the way, mind you, I have not gone through the schedule and given out, have a number on my mind, quick glance. But my point, I get it. After week 6, the schedule eases up a lot. And that's why it's so winnable. But this is like a gauntlet, man, weeks 1 through 6. And this team, this young, inexperienced team with a new coaching staff and this young quarterback that has a lot riding on him starts out 1-5, right? Well, the Eagles have no chance of running this division because the season will be over by then, because even though it gets easier, you're not going to have the confidence or the momentum to beat a Vegas team, a Chargers team with Justin Herbert, I know the Saints, Drew Brees is done, but probably not going to beat the Saints at that point. You know what I mean? And then you don't play the division till later. So that gauntlet, week 1 through 6, is the highlight for me. And I'll be talking about this all off season. 3-3 would be outstanding to me. Yeah. Because 2-4, you at least keep it in the mix to where if you can beat, Vegas and the Lions, now that's a lot to ask because they're both on the road, but now you're a 4-14 with the rest of that schedule remaining as easy as it seems right now. But if it gets out of hand early in this year, I think you can pack your bags and, we'll be talking about the 2022 draft by week 7.
Yeah, man. Look at that last line there of just division games.
Yeah.
4 division games in a row to end the season again. And it's crazy because, I know you said if we go, 1-5, the season's over. I don't expect to be clear. I don't expect the Cowboys or the Washington or New York to be as bad as they were last year. I think they all improved.
No. And Washington's defense is very good.
Yeah, exactly. So that being said, if it does turn into a similar season to last year, which I know, it would take a lot for that to happen, but somehow it always feels like there's a chance when there's that many division games left on the schedule. How do you feel about that Panthers game? Sam Darnold, you're in Carolina. Are the Panthers better with Sam Darnold than with Teddy Bridgewater? You know what I mean?
So I don't know. I know there are some people that can't stand Sam Darnold. I'm not a Sam Darnold fan. I really don't have any expectations when it comes to Sam Darnold. However, there's a lot of people who are high on Sam Darnold who think getting him away from Adam Gase and out of New York and into a team where you have a Christian McCaffrey and some weapons on the outside in why am I forgetting the kid out of Maryland, the wide receiver, DJ Moore. Yeah. When you have some weapons offensively and with Matt Rule and how he's a defensive-minded coach, maybe Darnold has some success there. That's why that's not even Carolina's not a very good team. But on the road, early in the year with a Christian McCaffrey who could literally go for over 200 yards on this Eagles defense with some weapons on the outside, if we only have Darius Slay and no one else and nothing else on this defense gets shored up, that's a winnable game like Atlanta is, but that is not a game I'm going check.
Right. Yeah. And, you got to look at it this way as well, is Carolina fans are looking at this schedule, their schedule, and they're looking at week 5 and they're like, oh,
they probably think it's a win. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
so they're looking at us like, oh, thank God we played them in week 5. That's a break.
I know I keep harping on it, but the reason I don't want to be negative Nancy over here. The reason I meant it's over by week 6 if you're 0-6 or 1-5 is because of the youth and inexperience of this team. If they get so far, if the low is so far low to start the year, I don't think they'll be able to climb back out of it, no matter if it's Vegas, Detroit biting people's kneecaps off, a young young Chargers team at home, Denver with no quarterback play, the Saints at home with no Drew Brees, and who knows what they're doing at quarterback, the Jets, and a bunch of division games. Yeah, for sure. Theoretically, even if they started 1-5, they have a schedule to where if they were better than we think, they could run the table for a while. But with the inexperience, the defense, as of right now, I'm going to keep saying that because there could still be moves made. I don't know what moves because we're in cap hell. So, I don't even know how. If Steven Nelson has so many suitors, I don't know how the Eagles could outbid people for Steven Nelson or another quality starting cornerback in this league. But as of now, if they get so far down in this hole through week 6, I don't know how. I think that season stays very, very ugly, man. I really do, and I hate to say that. That's why, look, if you can win the 2 winnable games in Atlanta and Carolina, and you can steal one of the others, and you're 3-3 through 6, I'm on board.
Yeah.
If you go 2-4, I'm feeling okay because of the schedule that's coming up, depending on how the losses are. If they get beat 48-3 against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they get beat 28-10 against San Fran and 30-10 against Tampa Bay, well, this Eagles team isn't doing anything. But I can't take my eyes off of the first row.
Yeah, and if they get 3 wins out of that first row, then they might mess around and make the playoffs, man. 3-3. I mean, it is crazy, but you look at. If they're able to put up any type of consistent play that early, I mean, that's a good sign with a rookie, basically a rookie quarterback, rookie head coach, rookie defensive coordinator. That's a big start. Now, obviously, with that much youth, that much inexperience, things could turn the opposite way quickly if they do get out to a hot start even. But if they can get, like you said, that extra win, now obviously we can't go around here, counting wins, but if they want to compete next year, they have to beat the Falcons and they have to beat the Panthers, right? That's what you're saying here. So then if they steal a game against one of these other 4 teams in that first row, who do you think it would be then? Who are they stealing the game?
So here is the interesting thing to think about. If I laid out the scenario that I just did, and they go 3-3, that means they're 3-0 on the road and they're 0-3 at home. That doesn't seem very likely, in my opinion. They're not. You can never say never in the NFL. I can't see them winning any of the 3 home games. I just can't. So that would be the only thing. The scenario I laid out would have to be you win the 2 winnable games and you steal the Cowboys game, and you are 3-0 on the road and 0-3 at home going after that. But I really don't expect them to win 3 of the first 6. I think it's more likely that they win 2 or 1. And here's my thing, Scott. We can't get too excited over this strength of schedule.
Yeah.
Because here's what I want to point out to you. How many teams do you look at on this schedule right now and can tell me with a straight face that the Eagles are better than them? I'll tell you my opinion. They are better than the Lions. They are better than the Jets.
Yeah.
And they might be better than the Chargers and the Broncos. That's it. That's the issue, right? When I'm looking at this team and they don't have that tough of a schedule. Look, our division really isn't that good. But to me, we're the worst team in our division right now, right? I'm sorry. It's winnable. We're not better than the Atlanta Falcons on paper as of today, May 12th. We're not better than the San Francisco 49ers. We're not better than the Kansas City Chiefs. We're not better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm sorry. We're not better than the Las Vegas Raiders. I know they don't have a quarterback right now. We're not better than the New Orleans Saints, and we're not better than anyone in our division, in my opinion. That's my dilemma here, where could they run a table? Sure. But you can't say anything for sure with this team because they're just not better than a lot of teams right now.
Yeah, man, it is really hard to make.
I mean, what do you think? Like, do you disagree? I want you to I'd love for you to disagree.
Yeah. So I mean, my dilemma really isn't the teams that we're better than. It's really, is Jalen Hurts going to be good?
Right.
That's, you know what I mean? Because as bad as our defense may appear right now with the corner, we could, I do expect them to sign a cornerback, like a competent number 2 cornerback. So I do expect them to address that. The defense, I don't think we're going to be getting, world beat. We're not going to be like these bottom of the barrel defensive team. I think Gannon should. You hope that it can't get any worse than Schwartz. I just feel like it really dwindles on Jalen Hurts in what he can do. If he can make our offense dynamic.
You're 100% correct. Can Jalen Hurts overachieve? So that's the thing. Not even can Jalen Hurts overachieve. Can Jalen Hurts prove Dylan Davis wrong? Yeah. Can Jalen Hurts be something that I don't think he is and prove me wrong and show me that he's something for the future? Right?
Most doesn't know. Most of everything inside me does not have
I'll tell you one thing for sure. No one knows. And if anyone tells you they know, they're lying straight to your face. No one should know whether he is the guy, because if you tell me he is the guy, which I had plenty of people and friends try to tell me that at the end of last season, we just fought all the time because you just don't know that. And you can't tell me to straight face that he isn't the guy because you haven't seen enough of it. Well, yeah, you're 100% correct that there is no sample size with this team because this is a completely new team. But to your point, Scott, that's another worry. You have an offensive coordinator and head coach who's never called plays before at this level, and you have a defensive coordinator who's never called plays before at this level. So you are right. The big unknown, there is no known with this team because it's all brand new for the first time. But that worries me. So that's where my pessimism comes from. So you're right where you don't know. Yeah. But that scares me.
So I guess, to address your question earlier of if I disagree with you, I don't necessarily disagree. I just think I look at it as the teams that you mentioned. So the Lions and the Jets, I definitely agree there. I would expect us to be better than them. But the way I'm looking at it, there's just a couple of teams on our schedule there where I think we're all kind of in this unknown, kind of not starting over, but just kind of unknown what the next step is going to be like the Falcons. They didn't know what they were doing this offseason. They were thinking about taking a quarterback in the draft. You know what I mean? So
you're right.
The Falcons, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Are they going for it this year? I don't know what they're doing. The Panthers are one of those teams where it's kind of how do you feel? I don't know anything about them. What's Sam Darnold? Was it Adam Gase or is Sam Darnold just
hold on? I guess to answer that, what I mean by they're not better than is I'm going rather than saying they're not better than them, I look at it as I can't say they're better than them. You know what I mean? To me, I can say they're better than the Jets, they're better than the Lions, right?
Yeah.
And, could you say the Chargers and the Broncos? So yeah, let me rephrase that. I'm not saying I can't say they're not better than the Falcons or the Panthers, but I can't confidently say they're better than the Falcons.
I agree with
they're
that.
better than the Panthers. There's every year you get the schedule and you try to predict it. And there's a couple games where that's the win. That's a win, right? No brainers. You're thinking that's a win. I have maybe 2 of those this year.
And I think last year really, really. Ruined my predictability because I had us with a decent record and we had a pretty rough schedule.
Oh, I had us winning 11 games. So
yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of deterred from like saying that we're gonna beat teams.
yeah,
Because last year I had us like, yeah, we'll split one with New Orleans and Green Bay, and then we'll go on the road and beat the Seahawks. Like,
exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing.
none of that.
We'll,
Like we're
we'll split with the
definitely not beating
Steelers. We'll split with the Ravens and the Steelers. We'll lose to the Seahawks because we always lose to the Seahawks.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, man, I completely agree with you. And then, you know, obviously we're not done yet, and we will, I guess, run through this and give our quick predictions before we wrap up. But that's my main eye-popping thing is that first row. How did the Eagles survive or not survive weeks 1 through 6? That's what it comes down to for me. Is it survivable? If it's not, and they win one game, where God forbid they start out 0-6, I'll be looking at prospects for the 2022 draft with a hopeful 3 first rounders or whatever the case may be. Because
go ahead, my bad.
No, so here's where I'm at with this Eagles team as is, because like I agree with you. I think they're going to make moves. I don't know who, I don't know how because of the cap situation, but it's going to happen. I do not foresee right now this being the roster we go in with. I think there's another few little pieces here and there that will be added to this team, right?
Yeah.
This offense right now has a chance to surprise me. And there's a bunch of ifs, as Rob Motti laid out the other day. If Nick Sirianni is this, mastermind offensive young guru, I think that's what we're going for, right? We're going for our Sean McVay. We're going for our Kyle Shanahan, right? That young head coach that's a player's coach. He gets people riled up, and he's an offensive guru, right?
Exactly.
If that happens, if Jalen Hurts can be the guy, and fix some of those issues he has as a quarterback over this offseason, right? If Jalen Reagor can, actually be a first-round pick like we selected him as last season, he wasn't put in the best situation. I'm not going to front you. Like, he battled injuries. Doug Peterson and this coaching staff did not put him in the positions that Jalen Reagor should be put in. He needs the ball in space. He can create. Christ, Scott, we saw that in Green Bay. They never let the kid return a punt. They put him back there one time as a spark. He takes one to the house. He doesn't return a punt for the rest of the year. I don't understand it. If Miles Sanders can continue to take a step, if Dallas Goedert is tight end 1, who knows what they do with Zach Ertz? There's a lot of ifs. This offense has a chance to surprise people, surprise me, and put major points up on the board if they're as fast and fun as they can be. The defensive side of the ball, I'm terrified. I am terrified because they have filled none of the holes. They have gotten rid of some pieces that I didn't want here anymore. Like Nate Gerry is no longer a Philadelphia Eagle, right? Like Malik Jackson is no longer a Philadelphia Eagle. I loved that signing when it happened. He got injured. It didn't work out last year, right? However, they filled none of those holes. Eric Wilson, I don't know enough about to be excited. I like the Harris signing. I like the safety signing. I really do. If they use him correctly. You haven't answered any of the cornerback worries that I have. You really haven't answered any of the linebacker worries that I have. And as far as this defensive line goes, you drafted about 4 guys to it that, maybe one in Milton Williams can play this year. And as much, as from the analytical standpoint, like how many pressures this Eagles defensive line had last year, it all comes down to timely plays for me. And it just feels like whenever this defensive line needed a stop, whenever they needed to stop the run, whenever they needed to, bat a ball down, whenever they needed to get after a quarterback and even just disrupt his timing, they never could. They never could when it meant something in a game. You know what I mean? So defensive line is a lot of ifs. Linebacker, they filled no holes. Who knows what Eric Wilson is? And cornerback, too, they haven't filled that hole. So offense, I think, has high upside. Defense is what terrifies the hell out of me.
Yeah, so So for me, I'm with you on the offense. There's a lot to be optimistic about on the offense.
Oh, first round draft pick. I can't wait to see the dude.
Yeah, and just simply getting your offensive line back healthy is going to be huge. It's about the concepts for me with Nick Sirianni coming in. He could, just by him running the offense competently. I hated Doug Peterson those last 2 seasons. Just
I agree, man.
Bias. I hated him, and I love the dude. Like, I hated the way he coached that team.
So did I.
I couldn't stand it. It made me sick sometimes. So if Nick Sirianni just comes in and runs the damn football.
Thank you.
Just run the damn football for once. Think about what that does for our whole team dynamic. So many times last year, we're coming out, we're trying to air it out, we're trying to pass the football. Carson Wentz fumbles, Carson Wentz turns the ball over in his own 30, and now this defense back on the wall, and they're getting broken in the first 2 quarters off of turnovers, and they're in their own territory. And even if they did get those stops, sometimes they did get the stop off the turnovers and help the offense out. And then the offense would come out and turn the ball back over, like literally the next possession, and put them right back.
I think Jalen Hurts has to get better at also, because he
turnovers.
fumbled like 9 times in 4 starts.
The turnovers in general, if that's happening, then you're going to see.
Or like how about like when your pass protection isn't there, or your offensive line is banged up? How about you move the freaking pocket, or you move the quarterback out of the pocket? Can you do that? How about play action rollout? That just didn't happen, because you know why, Scott? Because we didn't run the damn ball. We did live watch parties during Eagles games last year, starting with the Browns game. And if you go back and find the clips, all you hear me screaming is, "Run the ball, dog! Run the ball!" And it just pass. In a monsoon. That's all you have to know. In a monsoon in Cleveland, he threw the ball 48 times. Okay? That's all you need to know.
I knew as soon as Miles fumbled on that first possession, because like the first possession, I was like, yes. Yep. Miles fumbles right near the goal line. I Doug saw that. He was like, no way in hell. So he'd rather see Carson Wentz with it, on his back, throwing the ball up in the air. So whatever. But that's what I was getting at there. Just running the football is going to change the entire dynamic of the team. It's going to take stress off the defense. The defense is not going to get out there, not going to be out there as long, hopefully. So if Jalen Hurts in that running game are as dynamic as everybody's predicting, then that's going to eat up a lot of clock. It's going to eat up a lot of possession. And I think that could be key for the defense. I'm with you. The holes on defense. Now, the defensive line, we have to see, because if eventually Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox are going to lose a step. Right. Eventually. And Fletcher Cox probably already has. Let's be, honest here.
Right. What is Javon Hargrave? Right. What is Javon Hargrave?
His contract last year, so we don't know what he is. Josh Sweat, guys are high on. I'm high on. I like.
Don't know him.
He's
don't know enough. Derek Barnett, we don't know. He's injured half the time, so we don't know. All right. And then you got Milton Williams.
Linebacker, people were high on Alex Singleton. He's a rotational at best, and he's a special teams guy. Shouldn't be starting on your roster on defense.
He is, Scott. He's one of those guys Howie loves. You know what they call him?
Yep.
High motor. High
motor, good character.
High motor guy. That's what Alex Singleton is. He made some plays last year, man. But you're 100% right. He is a.
I do like him. Don't get me wrong.
Right. But Jordan Hicks. If you're watching this, come home.
Yeah, man. It wouldn't be a bad move. Wouldn't be a bad move in a year.
Be a great move.
Yeah, give him a shot and come back after 2 healthy years in Arizona. Maybe something changed. Maybe with the new coaching staff, we can take care of him better as well. So
for sure,
there's a lot to be learned. But I'm with you on the defense. I just think if we could just put the defense in better situations than last year, that could be a huge difference in itself.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if your corner's getting beat on double moves, there's not going to be much you can do about it. If Jake Mills, whoever is out there on that CB2, if they can't guard their man, then it's going to be a rough night every night, especially these teams that we're playing against. And
one thing that I'm excited to do with you here on Turf Talk for everyone watching, one idea we have is we'll probably wait until training camp comes around to where the roster is what it is, really. You know what I mean? There's not going to be any late acquisitions free agent wise in like late July. So but I want to break down each room. and I want to break down each room in the NFC East and then compare them and rank them. So we'll start with the DB room. We'll start and then go down to the linebacker room, the defensive line room, the offensive line room, quarterback room, running back room, wide receiver tight, all that stuff. And we'll get to it. But I don't want to do that like in the coming weeks because, like I said, if they add a Steven Nelson, well, then if our quarterback room goes from a grade F and you add Steven Nelson, it could go to a grade B. You know what I mean? Or an A. So that you can't do that yet, but I'm excited to do that. But getting back to the schedule, Scott, it's weird, man, because it's right in front of my face. So I'm trying to analyze it. So week 1 through 6, that first row, I'm going to call it the gauntlet, right? And then it's interesting because you drop down a row, you get 7 to 12. That's the winnable stretch for me. And then 13 included into the bye. And then obviously you get through the bye and you get division rivals who, you know, even if our division's not good, those games are still going to be competitive down until the end, right? So it's gauntlet, winnable as all hell. And then the final 4 is a lot of, you know, we'll see, in my opinion. But when you go Vegas, you know what really sucks is that the games I'm like sold that we're not winning are at home. And the winnable games are on the road, which if it was reversed, I'd say that this Eagles team could really overachieve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if we played Carolina, Atlanta, Detroit, Vegas, the Jets, Denver at home, and, you know, we're going to get our ass kicked by Kansas City and Tampa Bay. I'd rather just play them there and get our ass kicked there, not in front of our home fans, San Fran as well. That's the sucky part to me is the hard games we get at home, the winnable games become a little less winnable because we have to travel and play in front of full capacity now. Last year, that didn't matter as much. It does matter this year when they're going to be all full capacity. So that really hurts, but Vegas is definitely winnable. I know you're trying to get down. You're trying to get out there for that one. So I know you got that circled on your calendar. Detroit, like I hope they don't bite Jalen Hurts in the kneecaps, but I think that's a win. Then you get Justin Herbert at home, winnable. Denver, who are they rolling out there? Drew Lock, I don't know. That's definitely a winnable game. But then you got the altitude, and who knows? The Saints at home. Like I said, if you're going against Taysom Hill, you won that game last year. If you're going against Jameis Winston, that's a winnable game. I don't know what their plan is at quarterback. And then the Giants on the road. That's where it gets back to unknown. But what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on week 7? Let's do 7 through 11.
7 through 11, man.
Or how about we do this? Even flip, rotate the Giants, the first Giants game down in place of the Jets and move the Jets up to week 12 because that's essentially what I'm looking at. Because then you just lump the division. There's only one game in between the division games with the Jets. So just flip that around. Raiders, Lions, Chargers, Broncos, Saints, Jets. What are you looking at there?
Yeah, so Raiders, man, something about it. I just feel like they didn't do enough this offseason. They had like an all right season last year where they were really competing at one point and then really fell off. I believe they even beat Kansas City 1 out of the 2 games they played last year.
And they played the other one tough.
I'm not sold on the Raiders, man. I don't think they really added anything. If anything, they still have Derek Carr. They didn't improve the quarterback position. What are they doing on offense? They don't have anything really dynamic that kind of scares me. But I'm not going to sit here and say that we're going to beat the Raiders either. Like you said, it's a winnable game. Detroit, I'm not a Jared Goff fan. So
neither am I.
I'm not a believer in him. And I don't see what they did to help him any. Matthew Stafford's better than him. Kenny Galladay's gone. So what did they do to improve?
Kerryon Johnson's ours.
We took the nail in Miles Sanders' coffin from them. So
yeah, right.
I'm not a big fan of the Lions. I think they're going to be some garbage there. LA Chargers could be good. Justin Herbert is a dog. Let's be honest there. But home game, that's one of the games that we should look to win, especially at home. We gotta get some type of wins for our fans at home, right?
That might be the first home win.
Right. It could be. The Broncos in Denver, You mentioned the high altitude. They got a really stout defense, and they've added even more to it.
Right.
They kind of
they still
up on CBs. It's kind of crazy what they got going on in that CB room.
right? And then
there,
and then you add in. Do they still have Melvin Gordon and Lindsey's not with Denver anymore, is he?
Lindsey's not with Denver, but they drafted a running back, I believe.
And they still have Melvin Gordon, right?
Did they sign a running back?
Let me find out for you, pal. Keep talking.
Yeah, find out for me, man. The Broncos, their quarterback situation. So this is a good way. This is a good point for me to make, actually. So the unproven quarterbacks that we face, I look at
two-glove Teddy's there.
Who is it?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, he definitely was added in the mix. But it's like, who wins the starting job between him and Drew Lock? Like, I don't know. But that's where I'm at with like these teams without quarterbacks. I probably look at them the same way they're looking at the Eagles, because if you don't have a competent quarterback play, I do, and I'm a believer in stout defenses, but I also believe that if you don't have competent quarterback play, you can lose any game. Period. And when I'm looking at the Broncos of the world, I'm looking at the Saints of the world. Saints, now they have just a well-run organization, so they're kind of different from these other teams with the shaky quarterback situation. But the Giants, even with Daniel Jones, I don't think he's going to come out and beat us. New York Jets, to be seen with Zach Wilson. We'll see what they're working with, but I don't expect them to become world beaters overnight. They're going to have some growing pains, but. Yeah, that's the stretch, right? Like, if you can survive that first stretch, that's the stretch where if you're going to make noise this season, you better make it right now. Or because if you come out of those games and you have a bunch of losses,
yeah, you can't even be 500. Yeah, you can't even be 500.
Those guys. So if you can't go and get some dubs in that stretch, you're not beating the division rivals. Period. You're not
in those 6 games. Meaning the Raiders, Lions, Chargers, Saints, Broncos, Jets. You got to be at least 4-2 if you want to surprise me this year. Yeah. If you struggle mightily in the first 6 games, you go 3-3 in those games, and then you got the division for 5. That's tough, man. So Scott, I guess where I'm at now is, do you just want to run through week by week and off the top of the dome, give some quick day of schedule release predictions here and see what we come up with for the Eagles team? So
let's do that. And what we can do, because I'm sure we're going to do schedule predictions as we get closer to the season as well, as things change. I'm going to mark down my schedule predictions that I make today, and we can kind of reflect on them as season goes through and as we get closer to the regular season.
Absolutely. And then, once the week of opening, that first Sunday comes up, we'll also do the same thing and see how they change. So I'll write mine down. I'll get both of ours.
Cool.
All right. So week 1 in Atlanta, win or loss?
I am going win because we have to.
All right, so Scott's going win. And do you want to do every other? So you'll say week 1 first, and then I'll go, and then I'll say week 2 first, and then you go, and then you say week 3, so on and so forth.
That's perfect.
All right, you got Falcons win. Huh. We're starting out this way, huh?
It is. It's going to be a tough one. Don't get me wrong. I say win, but it's because we have to.
I'm going to say no. and then we get to San Fran, and I'm going to say that's a loss as well. How about you?
You're going to hate me for this, man.
No.
I think home opener, man, fans finally back in the stands. Now, that being said, if things are still getting back to normal, if we are going to have fans in the stands, a decent amount of capacity, of fans
it's full capacity.
Yeah, so if we're at full capacity, if this team has anything, they will go and they will win that home opener for their fans that have been so disgruntled over the offseason. So I'm going to go win there.
All right.
What do you got for San? Oh, you already gave me San Fran.
Yeah.
So you
Well, I didn't leave myself enough room on that page. So hold on.
Okay.
We're a polished production here over here.
Right.
All right. So I got loss. You got win. Week 3 in Dallas, Monday Night Football. What are you saying?
That's a loss.
The loss for you? Well, this is funny, man, because that is my first win.
Wow. Hey, I'm not even going to say anything. You never know, man. You just never know.
Okay, and then week 4, we get absolutely stomped. That's a loss. What are you saying?
Loss. Yeah.
All right. Carolina, now you're up.
This one's tough for me. I'm going to say a loss.
All right.
Just because I don't see us going 3-2 in our first 5. Like, that seems a little reckless. What about you?
Now, here comes where I go win because we have to.
Okay. I like
All right. So as of right now, through 5 weeks, we are both 2-3. Tampa Bay.
Loss.
Loss for you?
Yeah.
Man, I was really going to come out firing with some optimism right here, but
I thought about it, stationary Tom Brady, sitting duck in the pocket. They got a really good defense, though, and they brought everybody back from that Super Bowl team, man.
Nah, we win this game.
It's possible. It's at home. It is possible, man.
Did you know you've heard me be nothing but negative about this Eagles team?
It's hard.
I just said they're beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's more. Can I say this? It's more of a feel type of game than anything. Thursday night football at home. Coming off of let's say a big win in Carolina. They get some momentum and they lose to they beat Tampa Bay, and then they follow that up with a loss in Vegas. Wow. And I know that's going to kill a lot of Eagles fans because I'm expecting a lot to be down out there in Vegas, but I'm saying they lose that game.
That's got to be a dub for me, man. I'm going to that game, so they better not lose if I'm buying a hotel, hitting up the casinos in Vegas, going on vacation for the Eagles. Yeah. They better get that goddamn dub.
Yeah. All right, and then Detroit, the Eagles are going to bite some kneecaps off, and the Eagles win that game.
Eagles win. Detroit, garbage. I'm not a golf believer at all.
All right.
Even though he did torch us last year.
Yeah. Justin Herbert and the Chargers come to town, and I believe I only have us with one home win so far, so I'm going to say that we win that game. Hey, Scott, you know how I said we're like a 5-6 win team?
You're already at 5, right?
I'm already at 5, so
let's go with the latter.
So I don't ever want to hear anyone tell me that I'm a hater and I'm so pessimistic on this team because I can't even get 2 minutes into a schedule release without being optimistic about them.
So Chargers week 9, man.
Yeah, this would be a 3-game win streak for you.
I know. That's why it's like I can't give them a 3-game win streak.
By the way, by the time we end this live stream, I might switch the Tampa Bay game, but I'm not sure. That was a very impulsive selection by me.
You know what? I'm gonna say they're gonna hit a stride right there with that 3-game win streak.
Holy shit!
Chargers at home, and then it's gonna go a little downhill, and I'll follow up on the next prediction.
All right. So at this very moment, we had the same record at 5-4.
Interesting. 5-4. That's a great start.
The crazy thing, you have a nice 4-game losing streak right in the middle of all this mess. Where are we? Denver. That's a loss in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going loss there as well.
Which this isn't like a definite loss, but like I said, it's just a weird.
Weird.
Altitude game, 425 here on the East Coast. You know, they do have a good defense, I think. They have some weapons, man. They have Melvin Gordon. They have Cortland Sutton. They have Jerry Jeudy. And this, who, depending on who's quarterback, I don't know. It's definitely a winnable game, but my gut says loss. Saints, I am going to say that they lose to the Saints.
So just I wanted to reflect back to Denver and what you said about them. So for me with Denver, if Drew Lock is starting, then I'm taking the Eagles. But if Teddy Bridgewater, the game manager, is playing and they are not turning the ball over, then I would probably go Denver that game. Yeah. But I'm sticking with my L there because I do assume Teddy Bridgewater will be starting. He's a better quarterback in my eyes. Nola, I think that's an L. It's at home, though. You're getting them out. I'm gonna go L just to be.
We did that. We beat them last year at home.
Yeah, to be realistic, let's go L here. But part of me feels like home, getting them out of the dome. That's a good scenario for the Eagles, I would say, against New Orleans.
Absolutely, but I agree with you. Giants on the road.
This is where it gets interesting, man.
That's a loss to me.
Where am I at right now? I'm 1, 2. So 2 and 4, 3 and 4, 4 and 4, 5 and 4, 5 and 6, 5 and 7. On the road, they're probably going to split with the Giants. I'm going to go L here.
Yeah. Jets, I'm going W.
Yeah, I'm going W there as well.
All right. Then we have a bye week. Washington at home. Now watch this. Watch my logic here. So they're going to lose to the Giants. They're going to lose to the Giants in New York. They're going to lose to Washington at home. They're going to beat the Giants in New York. I mean, at home. Lose to Washington.
In Philly.
Or win. Hold on. I just completely messed myself up. So I have Jets win. Washington at home, I'm going L.
Washington at home for me. Fitz Magic, right? At a packed link. He's going to shit on us, man. I can see it now, dude. It just sounds like it, right? Like, it's going to be so annoying. It's an L, man. They got a great defense. They're going to take
man. All right, so I have us losing to the Giants in New York. I'm going to have us beating the Giants in Week 16 at the link.
Yeah, I think we split with the Giants, and that's the way I would go. Beat them at the link.
And then we have in Washington, I'm going to say that's a win because we lost to them at home. I think we go into Washington and beat them. And then I'm going to wrap up with saying we lose to the Cowboys in Week 18 at home.
See, I'm gonna go opposite. I think we're going to lose to Washington. I think we're gonna lose both games, man. I just have a weird feeling.
All right, and we're gonna beat Dallas. You're saying?
I think we're gonna beat Dallas because I think Dallas is gonna have locked up the division by then.
Okay. I'm an effing moron.
Why?
Hold on. Well, first of all, we have them with the same record.
9 wins, right?
No.
How many?
8.
Or no, 8 wins. Sorry. 8. So they're 8 and would that be 8 and 9 then?
Yeah.
Shit, they might make a playoff.
So,
and I feel like that was us being optimistic as well.
Highly optimistic.
Yeah,
I freaking said they're going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was a very impulsive, optimistic point of view, gut feel game there. So here's what I'll say. My first glance, I have the Eagles at 8 and 9. Now, as we continue to do Turf Talk and go live here on DSM Media throughout the weeks and months before the season starts and leading into the season, I will have different views. I could have the Eagles winning 3 less games than I have them at this moment. I could have them the same. I could be switching games around. From when I pick every week, I could say they're going to win a game I had them losing, lose a game I had them winning. I don't freaking know. Okay, people, this is just my first glance at the Eagles 2021 schedule. I know I'm wrong. They are not a 500 team or just sub 500, theoretically, but
you know what it is? It's the strength of schedule. That's what it is. If this had
100% that, and I was also we were also highly generous, or I was highly generous through the first 6 games. You're more realistic. You have them 2-4 through the first 6. That's probably what they're going to be. That's what I really think. The only reason I have them at 3-3 is because I did give them that Tampa Bay game at home. But you know what I'll say off of that, Scott? If they do win that Tampa Bay game and that prediction's right, they're probably not 2-3 at that moment. They probably are like 1-4, and then they beat Tampa Bay and they're like 2-4. I don't think they win that game to get to 3-3 at 500 through that gauntlet. That's just where I have it right now. Yeah. They could lose that Tampa Bay game, obviously, and then win in Vegas. It's just first glance. That's what I have them. And
the more that we do research as these weeks go by, like we said, we're going to be diving into each division, dissecting these teams. So as we do our research, maybe we come across some of the stuff that we didn't notice about the all
right. I haven't
that got better. And maybe some of that switches, some of these predictions. So none of this is final. It's always, continuing. No. So
if anyone thinks that a May 12th schedule release, first glance prediction is my final prediction, you don't know me very well. But yeah, man, that was a lot of fun, and I can't believe I gave them 8 wins.
Yeah, man. It is going to be an interesting season, to say.
Now let me see if I can pull up week 1 if you want to share it. Don't share it yet because I don't have it up. But if you want to take a quick glance at NFL week 1 as a whole here, let me see if I can find it. And just say just see any games that stick out, matchups that stick out to us. Because like I said, we are not just a Philadelphia Eagles show. We are an entire National Football League podcast. It's taking way too long. Where's the schedule? Also, thank you guys so much for watching. Or if you're going to watch, drop us some comments and tell us what you're thinking. All right, Scott, if you want to pull this up.
Yeah, man. So I'll go ahead and name one that's sticking out to me immediately. 2 teams that really got better, I think, in this offseason, in the Pats and the Dolphins. That's going to be an interesting one. And then I just peeked over at this Cleveland and Kansas City game, and that is going to be a monster matchup in the week 1. Because a lot of people got Kansas City as Super Bowl picks this year, and they got a lot of talent. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to blame anybody for feeling that way, but that is probably the best. That looks like the best matchup of the first week there.
I agree. Obviously, if this was a few years ago or even last year or 2 years ago, the week of the game on Fox, which seems like Green Bay, New Orleans would be a great matchup. However, we don't know the fate of Aaron Rodgers. There's no more Drew Brees and Nola, so that game takes a step back. I agree with you. Kansas City, Cleveland, that playoff rematch of last year. Let's see how Cleveland bounces back, after their first playoff berth in a long, long time. Other than that, man, I think Buffalo, Pittsburgh will just be a hard-fought, fun, good football game. The Thursday night game, obviously, it has this defending Super Bowl champs and our our biggest rival. So obviously we're hoping that they start 0-1 there. And, you know, my eye has to go to Indianapolis. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks versus our former starting quarterback and Carson Wentz, and see how that plays out in Indy. So that'll be a good one
you know,
as well.
Looking at this, and I'm not going to lie to you, this is the first time I've looked at this all day. These are some odd matchups, man.
100% agree.
So
100% agree. Is there how many division matchups are in week 1 that I'm looking at here? Miami and New England, Jacksonville and Houston. So
that's it.
The AFC South and the AFC East each have a game in the division. Outside of that, no other games are division matchups. Oh, and then I guess another one to look at, Sunday Night Football. You have potentially Justin Fields getting his debut in Chicago, and Matt Stafford with the LA Rams. And let me tell you, I cannot wait to talk about the NFC West because it's by far the best division in football. It's going to be ultra competitive, and I love Matthew Stafford with Sean McVay with that defense. I absolutely love that fit there. I think that the LA Rams have a chance to get back and win that tough NFC West simply because of him.
Yeah, no, I agree. The Rams are depending how you feel about Matthew Stafford. I'm with you. I love Matthew Stafford. If he can stay healthy, they're going to be Super Bowl contenders.
Right. Health is always a risk or something to look at when it comes to Matthew Stafford. However, he had to play in Detroit his entire career. Are you joking? He had to play with Detroit. Megatron retires early. That organization has been an absolute disaster, and it has not been because of him. He's an absolute gunslinger. He can still move. So, like I said, not just when you put that one of the best defenses in football on the other side of him, where he can make mistakes now, right? Because he's going to make mistakes because he's going to try to push the ball down the field a lot. But he has that defense to back him up and not just get killed for his turnovers, right? But you put him with Sean McVay, and you know they're going to come up with a lot of fun stuff. Because what was the issue with Goff and McVay? Goff had that injury, right? And he literally couldn't get the ball down. They weren't playing him because he couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't get the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford might have the biggest arm in the National Football League. Matthew Stafford will get the ball down the field. You can use Matthew Stafford in those bootlegs, those rollouts that McVay loves, the misdirections that he loves to do. The Rams are going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad we don't have to play them this year because they smacked us last year in week 2 with Jared Goff instead of Stafford. So they're going to be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, something I was going to ask you, man. I'm looking at I looked at the Jags game because obviously there's going to be some hype around that game.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence, you know, I've seen the way people are talking about him. Some are calling him the best QB prospect in 20 years. So eyes are going to be on Trevor Lawrence week 1 as well. But then what it prompted me for, and mind you, if Tim Tebow makes the team, oh my goodness. That's beside my point, though. Who the hell is playing quarterback for the Houston Texans? Did they sign anybody?
Dude, I couldn't tell you. I literally cannot tell you. They might be the most dysfunctional organization, most dysfunctional franchise in the entire NFL, and one of the most dysfunctional organizations in all of sports right now. They are an absolute mess.
Dude. So they brought in Tyrod Taylor.
Oh. Hopefully another doctor doesn't inject him with something before a game and he loses his starting job again. How crazy is that?
That's ridiculous, dude. Oh.
How crazy is that? And I love Justin Herbert, but Justin Herbert wasn't even going to be on the field yet because Tyrod Taylor was just that game manager, and Justin Herbert wasn't ready, and Tyrod Taylor would do just enough to keep his job. And they gave him like a pregame like shot or whatever, and it like effed him up. I forget the whole story, but that was wild, man.
You hit it on the head though, but yeah, that week 1, man, odd matchups.
I can't wait.
You, the Seahawks and the Colts. That's going to be one of. Well, I won't be watching it because the Eagles will be playing. But
Right.
Something I'll keep my eye on for sure. We'll see how Carson Wentz comes back. Seahawks is a team that he struggled with, right? So it'll be interesting to see if he can have some instant success with a great Colts team from last year, and finally maybe get his first W against the Seahawks. I don't think he beat the Seahawks while he played for us.
Yeah. So another thing, there's only one Monday night game this year in Week 1.
For Philly?
No, for Week 1. Normally it's like 7:10. Normally it's 7:10 and then like 10 o'clock, and now it's just one game at 8:15.
And what, the Cowboys game is the Thursday night?
That's the Thursday night game. The Bears Rams are Sunday night, and then Raiders Ravens is Monday night. And normally there's 2 Monday night games in Week 1.
Yeah, no, that's true. And usually it is one of those West Coast teams playing the late game.
Yeah. So
probably because they don't have
I can't wait.
Matchups, man. That's probably why they couldn't do that this year. Because I feel like it's always like the Chiefs and the Chargers, or like the Chiefs and the Raiders playing real late.
Yep. So, fantasy football, I cannot wait for.
Yeah, me too, man.
As much as I've been down on this freaking organization, I'll be there screaming my head off, getting my heart broken yet again at 3:30 p.m. September 12th, just because that's how it's going to work, and I'm an absolute idiot. But I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I'm excited as well, man. Football is my favorite sport to watch. The Eagles are my favorite team out of all my sports teams. So as down on them as I am, as down on them as bad as they were last year, as bad as this offseason has felt at points, I'm still looking forward to him. I still bought that Devontae Smith jersey. I'm still, investing.
Did you? There you go.
I did. I got it literally. I got drunk the night after the draft on Fanatics. It's not getting here until like June. It was kind of stupid, but whatever. I got it out.
So, to me, just looking at the schedule, and I have them in 8 and 9 right now, and that's kind of as is too, and I'm sure that'll change. Realistically, I think I'll probably have them at 7 and 10. I think I'll probably knock off that Tampa game. I don't know if I'll switch to Vegas game and knock off another one. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing, but I think more realistically, they're a 7-win team as of right now, and I am ultra down on them, and it sucks. But if you can add a few starting pieces, to this defense, then I'm a lot higher on this Eagles team, and I'll buy in a little bit more, a la Steven Nelson, Jordan Hicks, something like that. Because, like I said, this offense has a lot of ifs, but the ifs are possible. This defense just isn't possible, in my opinion, right now. So if you can add some competent starters on the defensive side of the ball, and this offense can be, a huge spark plug and surprise a lot of people, then this team they'll at least be fun to watch this year. But They won't be fun even if the offense is fun, but this defense is giving up 32 points per game, 30 points per game. They're allowing 385 passing yards per game. So they do have some work to do still, but I expect somehow, some way they'll get that done. Again, don't really know how at the cap situation, but we'll see, man.
Yeah, so there's still some stuff to play out. Obviously, they again put out the rumor that the Eagles are shopping Zach. I mean, no shit, Sherlock. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they're shopping Zach.
I know this happened a while ago. How about the report that came out after Juju re-signed with Pittsburgh that the Eagles made him a multi-year offer? Out of nowhere. I was like, first of all, how the hell are you affording this? But hopefully that just goes to show you that they're going to find ways to make some money work this year. And there's no way they can go into the season with Zach McPherson as their outside corner, or trying Avonte Maddox on the outside again, or Cravon LeBlanc on the outside. There's no way that can happen, man. But we won't get into that now. We just went live for an hour and 20 minutes for the schedule release that we planned for like 40 minutes or so. So thank you everyone that's watching. Thank you, Darius, for commenting. And if you're going to watch this, drop some comments wherever you can, and whatever you want to hear going forward, guys. Give us your comments. Some things you want to hear us talk about when it comes to the NFL upcoming season and the Eagles upcoming season, because we're going to be doing this weekly or almost every week this offseason, and we're going to need to get creative. So give us your thoughts, leave some comments, and thank you so much. Please subscribe to DSM Media, our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitch where we're streaming live right now. The same thing, DSM Media. Especially, guys, because this upcoming week, I know here on Turf Talk we are an NFL and football show, but DSM Media is a full 4 for 4 sports channel based on Philly sports. So we are high in the Sixers talk right now. So we will be doing a giveaway this upcoming week heading into the NBA playoffs and the Sixers playoffs. So you have to be subscribed to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitch to be entered for a chance to win the giveaway. And that will be posted sometime this weekend. So for me, you can follow me on Twitter at DylanJD98 for more information on that. Follow my man Scotty at Scotty Drown for more information on that. And thank you guys again.
Yeah. Just to follow up, guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is most important to us. And I just want to emphasize, I know we haven't talked about this a lot, but the importance of subscribing to Twitch and the YouTube channel. So Twitch is going to have some exclusive stuff on it. Yeah. It's going to be what we like to call rated R sometimes. Yeah. So we're going to do some other types of stuff on Twitch that we're not doing on YouTube, not posting to YouTube, not streaming on YouTube. So that's why it's important that you go out, you subscribe to both. Let us know you subscribe to both. And we will get you in that drawing for the prize, the Sixers gear. So just make sure you're hitting that subscribe button on all channels, following us on everything. That way you can stay the most up to date with us here at Turf Talk and DSM Media.
Absolutely, man. And guys, it's very simple. One button. One little follow button, and you'll be entered in a chance to win. And I want everyone to understand this too. It's not just follow us, subscribe to us for one chance to win a T-shirt or something. We are going to be doing giveaways often. Not every week, but maybe every other week. Not just Sixer stuff. Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, Eagles, whatever you guys are into. We'll be doing a lot of fun stuff with our giveaways. So please tune in for that. Hopefully, like I said, we'll be getting to a Sixers playoff game where we'll have a little DSM Media tailgate. Whoever's going to be down there joining us, we'll go live for a little bit with you guys. And we have a little some other fun ideas that we're coming up with where maybe we can get together with some of you guys, interact with you guys, and have some fun. So keep on the lookout for that on our Twitter pages. Like I said, at DylanJD98 and at Scotty Drowned.
All right, Dylan, I'm not going to keep you any longer, my man. Everybody that listened today, viewed today, thank you. If you missed it today, it will be out on our YouTube page for DSM Media tomorrow. And we will be plugging that all through Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's going to be it for this episode of Turf Talk. Thanks for joining the special schedule release live party. We truly enjoyed this, and I hope you guys did too. Peace, guys.